Welcome to episode number 269 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for all of you marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. You can find us, just search for us, Beyond Social Media Show. You'll find our website, podcast, all our channels there. We are recording live on YouTube on May 26, 2019. A lot of things to talk about this week, including the proof is in the P, Amazon's emotional rescue, Spotify for storytellers, searchable podcasts, burger bozos, surreal exhibit, stranger bricks, new Coke, actionable insights, misdirected Apple podcasts, emoji bars, and much, much more. And BL kicks it off with best story of the week. BL, what was that?
Well, the best story has been going on for 2 weeks. Last week, the social media person for VidaCoco, coconut drink, peed in a jar to prove a coconut hater wrong. And it appeared to be like a rant by this amateur mixed martial arts fighter about his intense dislike for coconut water, and then it turned into this really funny exchange between the VidaCoco social media person and him. So he wrote in a HuffPost headline, guy's name is Tony Poznansky, and he wrote, "Coconut water is disgusting." And so this Twitter thing started going on between the two of them, and he finally said, it tastes like pee. And they had a few back and forths that were really very funny. But he said, this is disgusting. And so she went and she peed in a jar that said VidaCoco on it. And the caption for her standing in the bathroom holding the jar said address. And he responds, he says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And although coconut water is disgusting, that's extremely funny. So this week, VidaCoco launched a new campaign, and I assume it was in the works because they couldn't have come up with this in 1 week, but it's called Impossible to Hate. And they have a new coconut drink that has actual coconut pulp in it, so it won't taste quite as much like it does kind of taste like, I guess, like pee. I don't have, not exactly sure. But anyway.
I would hope so.
They used an algorithm to find the most negative people on the internet, including one called the Grand Canyon. One person who called the Grand Canyon a big dumb hole. And they had these people try the new VidaCoco drink, which has pressed coconut in it. And the answers are absolutely just hilarious. And the whole campaign is impossible to hate. And the agency is interesting development. So they have the person who called the Grand Canyon just some big dumb hole, and they have her have a smoothie made with this drink, and she tastes it and she says, "It's not terrible." And that's like, nobody's saying, "Wow, this is great." They're going, "Yeah, it's all right. Not as bad as I thought." Really very funny. They have a sense of humor, and I always love when brands have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of coconut. I don't hate it, coconut, but coconut water, I think coconut water is probably a traumatic emotional experience drinking it. I don't think I'd want to do that.
It's gross. Coconut milk is good. I drink coconut milk, and I use coconut milk in coffee, and I use coconut milk in smoothies, and coconut milk is good. Coconut water is like, ugh,
yeah.
Why?
Yeah, that sounds wrong. So, no transition here. This is from a Bloomberg story by Matt Day about Amazon developing another voice-activated technology, this time a wearable device that can recognize human emotions. So this is in development. It's a wrist-worn gadget that is described as a health and wellness product. It is done in collaboration between Lab 126, which is their hardware development group, and the Echo Voice software team. And they're trying to devise a device that can discern the wearer's emotional state from the sound of their voice. And you think about it, that makes a lot of sense simply because our voice emits a lot of emotion. When we're in an agitated state, our voice has a certain tenor and frequency to it versus a relaxed state. So that's something that audio could definitely pick up on if you develop the right software and the right algorithm. So anyway, this device, this gadget, could be used to advise a wearer how to interact with others more effectively. So if you don't have much emotional intelligence, this might be able to give you a clue of, yeah, maybe you should not respond that way. Maybe you respond a different way to somebody based on the tone of their voice and the algorithms sniffing out of their emotions. It's in beta testing right now. There's other companies are trying to do stuff like this. Microsoft, Alphabet, IBM are developing technologies that are designed to divine people's emotional states based on images, audio data, and other inputs. But you can think of the applications for this in
marriage.
What?
Marriage.
Yeah.
Saving marriages. Yeah.
Voice activated counselor.
Yeah.
The article cites an example of somebody who is sniffing while asking their Echo for recipes, and they might pick up that this person has a cold and suggest a chicken soup recipe, for example. But another more obvious example, or more immediate and helpful example, would be somebody who's having a stroke. So when you have a stroke, your speech is often affected, or if you have diabetes and you're low on your glucose, you can slur your speech. It sounds like often people seem like they're drunk or having mental health crisis. So there's a lot of applications that this could apply to. Interesting stuff. We'll see if it ever comes out of development, but you can definitely see where this kind of technology is going in the healthcare fields.
I think it's going in the direction of Black Mirror episodes, and it's a little bit intrusive for my taste. If you want to know my emotional state, get to know me a little bit, and you'll be able to tell I'm an open book.
The person who broadcasts live every week a podcast on YouTube.
What?
The invasion of privacy angle. I mean, you know, I don't know.
Well, I'm not broadcasting live on YouTube. I'm not that open. But anyway,
no.
Anyway, Spotify has gotten deeper into podcasting with a podcast creation tool called Soundtrap. And this is from a RAIN news story by Anna Washenko. And it's a comprehensive feature set. It's got recording, it's got remote multi-track interviewing for video chat, smart audio editing as a text document, which I look forward to, full audio production, direct publishing to Spotify, and transcript publishing for optimized SEO. The new is cloud-based, and it's going to come out soon. And it's 14. Well, the Anchor tools that Spotify owns are free, but the Soundtrap program is going to be $14.99 a month. And it's currently living on Soundtrap's own website rather than on Spotify. But it is possible that it's going to launch on Spotify at some point in the near future. So that's something to watch out for. That's something I haven't seen in other places.
Yeah, well, we talked about Soundtrap when they acquired Soundtrap, and I was excited about it for I thought of it as an acquisition to position Spotify as a next generation recording studio. That's what Soundtrap that was originally for, is for musicians to collaborate. So they've either it'll be interesting to see whether they keep that for musicians as well as provide a studio, a tailored studio for podcasters as well. But this is an interesting development.
You know, the ones that are for musicians seem to come and go. They don't seem to stick around. Musically, that one, you know, a lot of people were doing well with that. There were kids making money doing their music on that channel, and that's disappeared. I don't know. It got absorbed into something, and you know, things that are good get absorbed into the bigger players, and then they more often than not disappear. So it's kind of hopeful that this one's not going away.
Yeah, yeah. Another news on the podcast front, Google Podcasts. This is from Zach Renault Whedon, who's the head of product for Google Podcast and the ViaPod News. Speaking at Google I/O, Sundar Pichai announced that podcasts will appear in Google Search across all platforms. So our long-anticipated indexing of podcasts via Google's indexing appears to be rolling out. So that our Google content or podcasting content will appear in Google searches. And a new feature, a play later feature, will allow listeners to queue up podcasts that they find via search for their phone or their speakers. So it looks like podcast discoverability through search that can then be sent to your phone or your Google Home to listen to. So very cool.
We're not there yet. I looked for us. I didn't see us in there. Have you tried it?
We are on Google Podcasts. We're showing up in Google Podcasts in search.
But not in Google search.
Yes, in
you
Google
can ask
search.
for a podcast by name.
I know.
For example, you can say, play the latest episode of
Hey
followed
Google,
by the podcast.
stop.
And there you go. You can
Yes,
ask
we
for
are.
us by name. Just ask for Beyond Social Media Show.
Yep.
Okay. Burger King, whose advertising is really off the wall, they dissed Ronald McDonald in the past week. This is from an Ad Age Creativity article by Anna Christine Diaz. And if you have coulrophobia, you don't want to hear this. Burger King has a campaign that might give you nightmares because what they show is the horrifying childhood experience of being embraced by a scary clown. And they have outdoor ads, and they take a dig at Ronald McDonald by promising customers they'll never have to worry about having a big red-nosed, pasty-faced, bewigged character menacing your little ones on what should be the happiest day of the year, their birthday. And they have truly frightening looking clowns in the billboards and screaming children in their laps. It's hilarious. And as someone who really does have that fear, I think it's hilarious. Like, I was once on the Howdy Doody show, and when Clarabelle came out, I started screaming, and they took me out of the audience. I mean, clowns are scary.
They are, especially after Stephen King gets a hold of them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this guy was a little bit of a clown in some ways. This is from a Mashable article by Allison Foreman. So there is an exhibit in St. Petersburg, Florida museum that is absolutely surreal. And it's not because the museum is devoted to Salvador Dali, who knew, in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's because the exhibit itself is surreal. The exhibit is called Dali Lives. And so the museum has curated more than 6,000 frames of film of the artist, one of my favorite artists, and run it through more than 1,000 hours of machine learning to create an artificial intelligence that is basically a replica of Dali himself. So visitors to the museum come up to this kiosk, which is like a 7-foot tall video screen. They press a button to activate the exhibit, quote unquote, and that prompts Dali, who's sitting off in the distance painting at an easel, prompts him to stand up, arise, and walk to the screen and address the visitors. And so the visitors can ask questions that he'll answer. There are 190,512 possible interactions. And at the end of the exhibit, Dali invites visitors to pose with him for a selfie. And they can actually, so he'll hold the smartphone up and take a picture of himself with whoever's standing in front of the exhibit. and the visitors can actually get that selfie texted to them. So just a brilliant execution all around. We talked a couple of episodes ago about the Van Gogh Immersive Museum exhibit. This is another very clever museum marketing tool and educational tool and exhibit. And
so you can make him do things.
You can answer him questions. He basically holds conversations with visitors.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow,
it's pretty incredible.
That is. That's worth a trip to St. Petersburg. It's really worth going. So Lego, who I think are probably the greatest marketers in the world. I read this story on Polygon, where the story was by Owen Good, and Lego has introduced a $199 2,200 piece Stranger Things playset. It recreates the buyer's home and its upside down counterpart, and it's officially called 75810, the upside down. It's got a light up alphabet wall. It's got a toaster waffle in 11's hand, and it has minifigs that it has. It has all of them. It has 11, and it has Dustin. It has everybody, and it has. Have you seen me? A stickered element and a bear trap to catch the Demogorgon. And the accessories include Lucas's slingshot and flashlight and Dustin's walkie-talkie and compass and Mike's walkie-talkie and Chief Hopper's coffee mug, because he's always got that, and Joyce's flashlight and the drawing of Will the Wise. And it's the first 2 seasons, and the new season starts, I believe, July 5th, and I can't wait. I want to see how the kids grew up. That should be cool.
Well, another Stranger Things story here. This one from Ad Age's Janine Poggi, who writes about Coca-Cola in 1985, the year, not coincidentally, that the next episode of the Stranger Things is set. They changed their formula for Coca-Cola and dubbed it the New Coke. The new version lasted all of 79 days because there was consumer backlash because nobody liked New Coke. They wanted their classic old Coke. But they are reintroducing, the company is reintroducing New Coke for limited edition in partnership with Stranger Things. So Stranger Things fans recognize that there's been product placement weaved throughout the show, most prominently in past episodes with Lego My Eggos that 11 loves to eat. But Coke has made its appearance throughout episodes in the past 2 seasons. But Coca-Cola is deliberately now bringing back the New Coke for a limited time in conjunction with the release of episode 3 of season 3 of Stranger Things. As I said, Eggo has been in product placement, but interestingly, the product Netflix hasn't basically sold the products. Eggo didn't know that their product was going to be placed in the series before it came out, so they're using it for realism's effect, right? But this is an actual partnership between Coke and Stranger Things. So the creators of Stranger Things, Matt and Ross Duffer, are going to direct a Coke commercial. They have directed a Coke commercial that features all the characters in Stranger Things enjoying New Coke at a movie theater set in 1985 or the 1980s for a TV spot that they're going to run, or maybe running. Oh, it started running on May 24th, so 2 days ago. We'll embed the commercial in the show notes so you can see it. It's very good. So you can actually buy New Coke at cokestore.com/1985, and it will be available in Stranger Things inspired vending machines that will pop up in select cities as well. So nice tie in there.
Do you think that's going to sell New Coke?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think it'll buy it. It's probably already sold out. I mean, yeah, people will buy it and they'll sell it on eBay.
Yeah, well, yeah, but will they drink it? I mean, that's I don't think
It's a
people
limited
still.
edition. It's just a PR. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, I
Gonna,
mean, imagine what that costs, though. That's a cost
yeah,
a freaking fortune. So I do not have any more good news. Do you?
I don't either.
Well, all right, let's go to bad news. Led as usual by Facebook. Facebook has made a big thing about how they're not selling our data. And this is from an Intercept article from Sam Biddle. And in actual fact, they're not selling our data, they're giving it away for free. And to advertisers, and Sam Biddle said it's exactly this sort of quasi-transactional data access that's become a hallmark of Facebook's business, allowing the company to plausibly deny that it ever sells your data while leveraging it for revenue. Facebook may not be selling data, but they are giving it away. So, there's an article in today's New York Times by Kara Swisher, who, as usual, is totally spot on, saying Facebook as we knew it is over. Facebook has jumped the shark, and there's just they can apologize all they want. They can say whatever they want about how they're not gonna, allow Russians onto the platform, and they're not gonna. Sorry about New York. So they're not going to sell data, and they're doing it anyway. So, at some point, I know you love Facebook for advertising, but at some point, it's going to stop. I mean, Facebook's done.
So, are they selling personally identifiable data?
They're giving it away.
Are they selling personally identifiable data?
I don't understand your question. They're giving it away. They're not selling it.
Is
It's
it okay?
personally
Well, the data,
identifiable.
is it identifying me personally?
Yes, and your friends and your contacts.
How is it doing that?
I guess you'll have to ask Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
All I can tell
I'm
you
kind
is
of
that
skeptical
that is
it's
what they're
personally
doing.
identifiable. And also, I don't agree with Kara Swisher that it's over. It's not. It's not. It's just not. I mean, it'll take it may come as some time, but no, people are still buying advertising on Facebook. It's not over.
It's dying, and it will die. And
They are losing visitors, but they're growing overseas, and Instagram is still popular and growing. So,
well, also growing is the boycott Facebook hashtag, which is happening. And I think that, this thing with the Nancy Pelosi fake video and refusing to take it down is really jumping the shark. That's it. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
well, I'm no defender of Facebook, but I don't think it's jumping. I don't think it's dying. I don't.
Well, I think that it will, and I think either Facebook will finally lose advertising support, or they'll find a way to get rid of Zuckerberg. He just doesn't really want to change anything, except I mean, they do it and then they apologize. It's going to be a joke already.
Well,
And
we know that. I think we're going to have to agree to disagree with the Facebook is dead thing, though.
well, we'll see what happens, but I'm done with it, really.
Okay. My bad news, Apple Podcasts. So Apple Podcasts rolled out their web versions of their podcast pages for individual episodes, but they are linking for our website, for our podcast, they're linking to Libsyn and not our website individual episode pages. So we host our podcast through Libsyn. So there is a Libsyn page, but if there is an official website page for a podcast, why aren't they linking to that?
That's a really silly move for them. How is that going to make podcasting any better?
Well, I don't understand it, but so that sucks. Here's another thing that I think is stupid. We might disagree with this on this one as well, but this is an entrepreneur story by Stephen Bronner about Hershey's, who are adding emojis to their chocolate bars for a limited time this summer. It'll be the first time the company has changed the look of their chocolate bars. You will be able to get the poop emoji on your chocolate bar. That they're going to add emojis to the wrapping, and the individual piece chocolate bars will have emojis embossed in them. Will come in 6 packaging designs. There will be 25 emojis that are featured. A quote from Kristen Ohm, who's the senior manager at Hershey's brand, says, "Our classic Hershey bars were made to be shared with others. By adding an emoji designed to each pip of chocolate, we hope that parents and kids are inspired to share a chocolate emoji and make a connection with someone new." First of all, pip. I guess I didn't know what a pip was, but now I do. A pip apparently is a little piece of chocolate. But okay, they've got research that says that 87% of kids would want to share their emoji bar with others. They're priced at 99 cents a bar and a snack size bag of $4.09. It's just slap an emoji on something to make the product what?
Wait, what? The poop emoji is?
Yeah, you can get, apparently you'll be able to get the poop emoji.
Okay.
But that feels desperate to me.
It feels totally desperate. No, I don't disagree at all. I think that's really a stupid, I mean, it's so superficial and stupid.
Yes, exactly. It's superficial.
Yeah, I mean, make the chocolate better. And then maybe I would eat a Hershey chocolate bar. They're just all sugar. They're horrible. But that is really dumb. And the poop emoji, I mean, so that's all our bad news, huh?
That's it.
Okay, let's go on to shiny objects. I was sent one this week that's really interesting. It's called Flex Clip, and it's a free video editing app, and you can make dynamic, I'll put one in the show notes, you can make dynamic video clips out of any video that you make or that you watch, and then you can put type in them. So it can have animated type. So the example I have is one with pictures of donuts, and it says 20% off today or whatever. And but you can add that to your videos. It's a very cool free toy.
Nice. So mine is a podcast, Tube Talk podcast by vidIQ, which is they are the makers of the excellent browser extension for getting keyword data for YouTube videos. They publish a Tube Talk podcast about video marketing, obviously, but the podcast in general I recommend, but this podcast in particular, this episode in particular, is fantastic. It's with an interview with a guy named Tom Martin, who is a video marketer, and he explains his methodology for marketing videos on YouTube. Consistency of uploads, consistency of topic, consistency of metadata. The first two are obvious and are standard operating procedure for any YouTube channel. The second one, he lays out a methodology for optimizing your channel first with keywords that are appropriate for the entire channel, and then your default upload keywords that he uploads to every video he uploads, which go into more detail but are different from your channel keywords, and then video specific keywords for each video that you upload. It's just a really smart way of thinking about how to optimize your videos, and you'll have to listen to the podcast episode to get all the details, but we will embed that in the show notes so you can listen to it. But highly recommended Tube Talk by vidIQ.
We do all that stuff.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I have another podcast. This is the Sleepwalkers podcast, and this one is investigates this episode investigates the possibility of AI transforming our lives for good and evil, and this one is about investigating the connections between online dating, terrorism, and screen addiction. And we hear from Tristan Harris of the Center for Humane Technology. This is real, this is not fiction. And we hear from Gillian Brockwell of the Washington Post, and Yasmin Green of Jigsaw, and also Dr. Helene Fisher. And the question is, Are we just sleepwalking into letting AI take over, this revolution that's transforming our lives? Should we be paying more attention to what it might be doing? It's a really interesting conversation about AI. So give a listen to that one. I'll put it in the show notes.
Sounds very good. And yes, we should be paying more attention to it.
Yeah.
And yes, we are sleepwalking.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got a project?
I got one, yeah. My publicity hound friend, Joan Stewart, mentions me in a blog post this week on how PR people should pitch. And this has always been one of my favorite topics. So she links to a post of mine where I featured a good pitch that I got from somebody, and she explains like why pitches are bad, and in it I had discussed the fact that if you say "Dear Mr. Ochman," or if you say "I'm," which is clearly like some boilerplate crap that I see every single day of my life. If you say "Great job with your blog, we'd like to guest post on it," that's spam, and I don't want to see it. But so she writes about how to pitch for guest posts, and pitching is pitching those posts. That advice, which I will link to, is good across the board.
Very good. Very good. What's next?
I'm not sure. What's next is you have Bill Maher.
No, I don't.
You don't?
Oh, no, I don't.
Politics? You're not going to do that one?
That's left over from last week.
Oh, okay. That was fun when he did that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't have any pro tips, and neither do you. So that brings us right to the daily numbers.
Wrap it up. Sorry for the hiccup, folks. So I've got email opens by hour. This is from Get Responses. Is the percentage of emails that are open the hour after send. So kind of benchmark data on the first hour after send, about 25% of emails are opened, 30% after the second hour, and you get up to 50%. It's around 5.5, 6 hours after you send an email that you get to 50% on average. So think of, it's kind of interesting data and kind of makes a lot of sense. And if you send a lot of emails, this probably tracks. It kind of tracks with what I see in my email marketing stuff. But you kind of think of other tactics you can do to get people to open your emails during that crucial period where a lot of people are opening, or where you want people to open up right away. One of the things is announcing it on social media. I often do is just have you got your most recent newsletter, whatever it is, just tipping people off to the fact that there's something in their inbox in other channels. So
I use MailTrack to track the opens of my emails, and I'm surprised by how many are opened right away. And then what surprises me the most is it tells you how many times somebody read your email, and sometimes someone will read an email like 10 times. And I guess they meant to do something about it, and they got interrupted, and they go back to it. I'm not quite sure why anybody would read an email 10 times, but it's surprising how many people do.
Well, that's can be somebody who's forwarded your email to other people. I have lists where there's people who consistently have 40 opens on an email, and that person has clearly sent it to their team. So I put those people on I segment those people because they're more valuable because they're spreading the love, right? So
yeah, it's nice when people do that. So that brings us to the end of episode 269 of the Beyond Social Media Show. And to find us, all you have to do is search for Beyond Social Media Show, or tell your smart speaker to play Beyond Social Media Show. Links to everything we've talked about today will be on our blog, beyondsocialmediashow.com/269. And my charming co-host is David Erickson, who's on Twitter as D. Erickson, on Instagram as D.E. Erickson. He's on YouTube as eStrategy, and he blogs at eStrategyblog.com, which you should be reading because it's great. I'm BL Ochman. I'm on Twitter as What's Next, on YouTube as What's Next Blog, and I blog at What's Next Blog, and my website is BL Ochman. The Beyond Social Media Show is at beyondsocialmediashow.com, or you can find us on Twitter at BS Media Show. And of course, we're on LinkedIn and Facebook, and, just go to Google and say, find Beyond Social Media Show, and there will be. And so we thank you for being here with us today, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.